back to my channel. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. So how have you been lately? As for me, I've been kind of bleh. And by that I mean I've been really seriously trying to get over some kind of stomach condition. Now, I haven't had any pain or anything, just a lot of weird symptoms. For instance, the biggest and weirdest symptom would be not wanting to eat. And so you might be asking, what's so weird about that? Well, for those of you who know me a little bit better, have you ever known me not to want to eat? I don't think so. And because this is a new year, a brand new year, 2024 has finally arrived. It couldn't get here fast enough. And, you know, for somebody whose past is so alluring and interesting and beautiful and filled with wonderful, vivid memories, my present life is, well, let's just move on. And talking about the new year brings up the idea in my mind of New Year resolutions. And so I have to stop right here and tell you, out of the 10 resolutions that I did make last year, 3 of them have yet to be realized. One would be walking more. No, not only did I not walk more, I managed to walk an awful lot less and set a record for me. In all the summers that I have been alive, I know that I set a record for having walked the least. And the other 2, well, I did make a resolution to go to more art galleries and see more live performances. And you know what? I'm going to just keep waiting on that one. And for the other, probably most important resolution would be my home projects, my home improvement, like painting my bathroom walls and my laundry room walls. No, hasn't happened yet. Recovering my kitchen counter? No. Covering my kitchen tiles with something less disgusting to look at? No. However, the most important and pressing resolution that I have to get on with this January would not be at all very new. In fact, it's quite old. That would be continuing with my review of the situations surrounding the missing children of Europe, all related to the McCann case, and in ways that I can't possibly explain. And so I don't want to turn this into a victim bashing or a suspect bashing review. I just want to get the facts out. I tell it like it is. Of course, I have a big mouth and I do have opinions, but I try to keep those to a minimum. What I said about certain law enforcement individuals, I'm repeating articles. I'm repeating real live reports of citizens and foreigners who were targeted by criminal groups. If you don't like it, that's fine. I understand. I don't like it either. And so, before we get on with this review, bear in mind that I have to kind of go back a little bit and maybe, so to speak, do a little time traveling. I would like to finish off the my review of the Maddie McCann suspect, who I really, at this point, doubt that he was actually ever involved directly. He may or may not have had information or may have inadvertently known or had contact with people who did have something to do with Maddie McCann's disappearance. I don't know, so I can't say. The last thing I want to do is simulate anything that recreates the experience of the torture that these families and their victims went through. I don't want to do that. I don't want to dwell on it. But I do want to get to the truth. And if the truth means letting go of some old and fallacious, wrong ways of thinking and going about finding a suspect, I think that we have to really start there. We can't continue in these negative and useless thoughts of patterns of thought that really don't lead us anywhere but down a garden path. So bear with me while we go back. I believe it was October, a beautiful day in October, where I began to finish off my review on the Madeleine McCann suspect. Welcome to my channel. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another segment of missing kids, still discussing the unfortunate childhood of our prime suspect in the Madeline McCann case. And so last time we were talking about the misfortunes of this person's childhood, early childhood especially, where something happened to his biological parents. And so he was very kindly adopted by another family as one of their own. And so we were discussing the misfortunate accident of his adoptive father, Fritz, who had brain injury, severe head injury after a massive vehicle accident. And that is when the prime suspect's life began to disintegrate and fall apart. And he turned to a life of crime. And so where we left off was that the people of his Bavarian hometown were shocked and they were outraged to discover that he could indeed have been involved with many cases of missing children, and some of them transpired, some of them missing, and obviously of Madeline McCann. And so this is the kind of stigma that the convicted prime suspect has had to endure, and we don't know if he was actually positively linked to any of these other cases, particularly that of Madeline McCann's. I have no idea what evidence may have been put forth in an argument that tries to illuminate a link to the Madeline McCann case. However, he is suspected of a great many more crimes. And so let's backtrack a little to his age after his father had the horrific accident, and he was 17 years old. And so his first crime was a burglary committed in his local area, actually at 15. So he was still a very young juvenile at that point. And so he committed his first burglary at 15. I don't know if it was out of desperation or need or as a cry for help. Probably all, a little bit of all. And so 2 years later, he was convicted of the abuse of a child. And so he was only 17 at that point. He was in a high school, he was in a high security prison, and he served the sentence, and he served 2/3 of that sentence before escaping, probably when he was out on parole or a pass or something like that. And he did go to Portugal, and there he spent a good 12 years with a girlfriend who he is no longer with. And then he returned to Germany after a dozen years. But he didn't go back to his hometown. And so I've gone over some of this ground before, but let's go over it again, because it's so disheartening to see how a criminal's life progresses, how sad it is. And so even though the people of his hometown and community in Bavaria are doing everything they can to support the adoptive mother, Bridget, they don't take very well or very kindly at all to the prime suspect. They don't want anything to do with him. And so I imagine a lot of that was because of the grief and stress that he caused his parents while he was growing up. And so the prime suspect was actually investigated for the missing girl Louise and for the murder of the other girl who was found transpired, and also for another 5-year-old child, which we have not yet discussed, who vanished in Germany in 2015. And so he is still a very prime suspect in many of these cases, guys. And I don't know how the police are going to manage to successfully link him to all of these other sorts of goings on throughout Europe, Germany, Portugal, the Netherlands. And so we're going to have to see how this pans out. But indeed, he began a life of crime at such an early age. I mean, can you imagine committing your first burglary at 15 years old? And I'm not talking about shoplifting. I imagine it was quite major and quite criminal. And so that is all that I have for you today. And so it's a short one. And thank you so much for listening and watching. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Next time we will begin our discussion on the missing children who have all vanished in Europe and are still missing. Thank you very much and take care. Bye-bye.